Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Zoe, for introducing to me and my methods of communication presentation. I know everybody's taking their time to come out here and see this, so again, thank you. I think it's very important that we cover a topic like this because on this, you have which method is going to work best for you. There's so many different methods that are out there, and they all have their pros and their cons to them. And not one is ideally suited to use across the board and in every work environment. So moving on to our first one, and probably the most widely used method, is going to be the email. It's considered very professional because it's a global application. I can send an email from here to the other side of the world instantaneously. So delivery, we've got that very fast, and I have a record of communication, which is very key to what I do in my line of work. I need to be able to prove that there is a question asked and that I received the answer, and that's why we're moving forward. Now, with that, we do have some issues. There can be delays. I send an email and somebody's not at their desk when I clearly saw them walk by. It may not be the best model to use at all times. You could get into a back and forth conversation when you have a technical issue. So when you use this line of communication, you will have to be very specific in what you ask and make sure you're very thorough. It also can be construed as impersonal because if somebody is sending you an email whenever they could use a different line of communication, they may be questioning why you're going that route as opposed to just simply moving forward or just asking the person in a different manner. So that'll move on to our next line of communication, which is a phone call. I like to say when necessary because positive sides of it is a global application. So I can certainly call somebody all over the world. It's instant, so it's going to happen immediately. I should be able to get my answer, which minimizes back and forth conversation, dialogue. So with that, we're moving at a fast pace to get the task done. Now, accounting is going to talk to me if I'm talking on the phone globally because of the cost, so that may be an issue. The time delay, if it's 1 o'clock on this side of the world, it may be 1 o'clock in the morning on the other side of the world. There is no record of the conversation whenever you use a phone call, so it can be an issue that if you have a problem, you came up with a resolve, and that didn't work out, and it gets back into a he said, she said issue. That can be a problem. It's also very impersonable. A lot of us get phone calls at dinner or at the house or at inconvenient times. You just may skip over it. So to me, it's not one of the best solutions. I still feel that one of the most efficient ways is the face-to-face communication when applicable. They're great for a minimum back and forth conversation. It can clear up a lot of problems, a lot of questions that you have real quick. It's personal. You get some feedback from the person themselves, so you can get an idea or the scope of what you're dealing with. To me, that's what makes it very efficient, is that I can get a future aspect of what I'm doing. What doesn't make it very efficient is it's not a global. No, it can be. It's just not very cost efficient to send somebody from here to the other side of the world. There is no record keeping when on the face-to-face communication either, nor can you transfer any files. And would that person be at their desk when you walk all the way over there? So you may end up falling back and using a different line of communication. So hopefully out of those options that you see, you'll be able to tell that email, it is professional, phone call, use it when necessary, and when it's possible, face-to-face communication is still one of the most efficient methods to use. And after determining this, I hope that you're able to use this in your application and determine what's going to work best for you. Now, I'm going to hand this off to Hansen where he'll be talking about listening skills and factual communication. And I hope you all have a good evening. Thank you very much.